What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about toxic relationships and letting go of toxic relationships, all of that good shit. Okay, so I've had my fair share of toxic relationships, and I will say, for whatever reason, toxic relationships are the hardest relationships to let go of. And when I say toxic relationships, I don't necessarily mean like abusive relationships or anything like that. I feel like when I say toxic relationships, I mean relationships that are just not good for you at all. Whether it be, you know, a lot of arguing, because a lot of arguing is not good in a relationship. I'm not saying arguing in and of itself is not good, but a lot of arguing is not good. If you guys are arguing every day, 4 times a day, that is really not good. So that's not right. Somebody just like, what? Okay, anyways. So, toxic relationships are just so hard to let go of for whatever reason. But those are the type of relationships that you definitely have to let go of, because they kind of make you question a lot of things. They make you question your self-worth. They can lower your confidence, your self-esteem. They can make you question your morals. And like I said, I've been in a ton of toxic relationships, and you kind of lose yourself because you're trying to make this relationship work and it's not working. Again, it could be something as simple as emotional manipulation. Now, a lot of people do this and they don't. Some people, I'll say, now I don't want to say all people, some people don't realize that they're doing it. So they'll do things like, if you're upset about something, like if they make you upset, they'll kind of get upset in a way, and they'll kind of make you feel bad because you feel bad when they're the ones who made you feel bad. I hope that makes sense. But things like that, and it seems like you care more about those people in toxic relationships. Like, it just seems like the love, if that's really what it is so much stronger in toxic relationships. And I feel like it's just because we don't want to let those things go, because all relationships, or not all, but most relationships start out peachy and like really good, and then for whatever reason, when they go toxic, you know, they just go left. And we want those relationships to work so bad, so we try our hardest to make those relationships work, and they aren't working. But a lot of us fear change, so we don't want to let that person go, those relationships go, because we don't want to start over. We don't want to get to know anyone else. We don't want to do any of that. So we're trying our hardest to hold on, and it just gets more and more toxic, to the point where at some point we realize if we don't let this relationship go, we are going to literally lose ourselves, like, completely. So toxic relationships doesn't necessarily have to just be like intimate relationships. It could be, you know, friendships, or it could even be, you know, people in your family. But any type of, you know, relationship, it can be toxic. People can be toxic. And the tip that I have for letting go of toxic relationships, I feel like the first thing is going to be realizing that the situation is toxic. Sometimes you have to realize that there are things that another person is doing, or maybe even yourself, because you can be the toxic person in a relationship. But the first thing is realizing that this relationship is unhealthy. These things that this person or I'm doing is toxic. If you never recognize that it's unhealthy, you're never going to recognize that the relationship itself isn't good. You're just going to brush things off. It's just like when people ignore the red flags in the beginning of a relationship and shit goes downhill. It's like they ignored the red flags. They never recognized that these were not good traits in a person, and they ignored them, and they end up hurt. So it's kind of like you have to recognize that the behaviors are unhealthy, or the situation is unhealthy, and once you recognize it, then you're just like, okay, so this may not be the best idea. Letting go of someone, a healthy relationship or not, it doesn't matter. It's hard, it hurts. Like I said, a lot of people fear change, so letting go of that person means a big change is going to happen. You're going to have to learn to live without that person. You're going to have to change your routine. You've already changed your routine to be with this person. Now you have to change it to be without this person, and it's just going to be so much change. Your feelings are going to be hurt. But toxic relationships are never good, because throughout the relationship itself, your feelings are being hurt. No matter how small the unhealthy behavior is, your feelings are somehow getting hurt in this toxic relationship. So letting go of it, yes, your feelings are going to be hurt, but your feelings were getting hurt the entire time anyway. So it's not like you know, the feeling is going to be any different. It's just this time, that'll be the last time that your feelings are going to be hurt by this person or their behaviors, or you know, whatever like that. If you have friends or family that you can lean on during that time, I definitely would recommend it. A lot of times, if you have good friends, they can tell you about a person's behaviors, and a lot of times we ignore it because we don't want to believe it, we don't want to see it, we don't want to believe that person is toxic. And just because, I just want to clarify, just because a person is toxic or just because you are toxic doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Sometimes people go through things in their life that makes them very toxic and give them like a negative vibe. Most people aren't toxic their entire lives. Once they get over that little hump or get over and fix whatever is making them that way, then they kind of get rid of that toxicness and they can become, you know, a better individual. But if you have someone who just never confronts their demons, they're never going to get better. They're always going to be toxic. And those are not the people that you want to be around. You want to protect your peace, your sanity, your happiness at all costs, because being around toxic people is draining. Draining. You will drain all of your energy, all of your resources. You will drain everything being around a toxic person. And it's just not good for you. I think within my toxic relationships, I really just had to get over the fact that yes, this is going to be something different. Yes, things are going to change drastically, but it's going to be a good change, because I just knew if I stayed in that situation that nothing good was going to come from it. I knew I was just going to continue to get hurt. I knew things were just going to get worse. There would be times where I would literally just get into funks where it's like, I don't really want to do my schoolwork because this person has made me so upset. And you never want to give someone that much emotional control in your life. You want to be in control 100% at all times. So when you feel like you're losing yourself, you need to kind of, this is not good right now. Take a step back. Let them have their space. You get your space. You get it together. You get yourself together, and you figure out where things went wrong. Maybe it was you. Maybe it was them. Maybe it was the both of you. Two toxic people in a relationship, not a good thing. To hurt people in a relationship is not a good thing. The saying goes, hurt people hurt people. So if you are hurting, if you've just been hurt, you need to get over that hurt before you get into a relationship with someone else. Otherwise, you're going to be that toxic person. To hurt people in a relationship does not make something beautiful, because you guys are just going to go back and forth hurting each other. So I don't know, I've been seeing it all over social media where they're like, to hurt people in a relationship is a beautiful thing. No, it's not. You're just going to continue to hurt each other because you guys haven't healed yet. You know what I'm saying? So if you are the toxic person, again, you have to recognize that your behaviors are unhealthy, and you have to take a step back from everyone. Everyone. Not just your partner, your family, your friends, everyone. Because you can be toxic to other people. Like I said, it doesn't just apply to intimate relationships. You can be toxic to your family members and your friends. So when you realize that you're that toxic person, that your behaviors are unhealthy, you need to take a step back from everybody. Whether you let them know or you just go ghost. But you need to look within yourself, and you need to figure out where these unhealthy behaviors came from. Why are you displaying these unhealthy behaviors? What caused these unhealthy behaviors to surface? If it's because you've been hurt in the past, then you need to get over the hurt and, you know, deal with that so that those toxic behaviors can go to the wayside. It's just all about knowing who you are, realizing what's going on in your life. If it's someone that has hurt you that is still in your life and you're displaying those toxic behaviors, not only to that person but to other people as well, then you need to cut that negativity out of your life. And then again, take a step back, go back and fix yourself. You are the most important person at the end of the day. It sounds selfish, but you are. So if there's someone in your life that is hurting you, hurt people. You have to cut it. Seriously, cut it. Take a step back, work on you, fix that hurt, deal with it, accept it, acknowledge it. It's okay. Everyone gets hurt. You know, there's nothing wrong with being hurt. But when you start hurting other people because you're hurt, that's when it becomes an issue. Realizing you're the toxic person in a relationship will hurt your feelings more than realizing another person is toxic just because you are sitting around trying to figure out why things aren't working out or why things are going the way that they're going. Then you realize that it's you and that you are the one that's been hurting all of these people, and it kind of sucks because a lot of times we don't want to realize that we are the toxic person when a lot of times we are. No matter how minor the toxic behavior is, you're still hurting other people. And if you have a heart, you know, you never intentionally hurt these people, but there are just some things that you never dealt with, or there's just negativity in your life that you never cut out for whatever reason, and it's causing you to have these negative behaviors and you're hurting people. And it's going to be people that you truly care about and that you never meant to intentionally hurt. It just happened. And when you hurt people that you truly care about, it hurts your feelings. If you have a heart. If you don't have a heart, then you're not going to give a shit. Then it doesn't matter. But if you do have a heart, hurting people really does hurt your feelings, especially people that you care about. You never want to see the people that you care about hurt. So that's why it is so important to just recognize your toxic behavior and fix it before you hurt someone else, or before you hurt someone you care about to the point where they completely wash their hands with you and you lose them forever. In terms of closure, a lot of people want to seek closure. I personally feel like closure is a scam. I feel like closure is a way for people to keep that person in your life. I personally don't care for closure. Like, if I get closure, then okay. But if a person ghosts me for whatever reason, or if I ghost another person, I personally will not ask for closure. So, and I've been ghosted before, and it was because a person realized their toxic behaviors was hurting me, and they ghosted me. Not to get themselves together per se, but they went on to be toxic to someone else, which is not good. And I don't know if I should be happy that they cared about me enough to not want to continue to hurt me, or if I should feel bad because they're just hurting someone else. I'm not really sure how I should feel about that yet. But I never really got closure, I guess you could say. Like, they literally just stopped talking to me and moved on. And I never asked what happened. Why'd you stop talking to me? I just felt like that was a way for me to keep them in my life. And I knew they were toxic, and the ties had to be cut. And asking for closure kind of just gives them like this much of a way to kind of like wiggle back in if they want to. So if you really feel like you need closure, I guess you can ask. If I've ever ghosted someone and they asked me for closure, I would give it to them. But if they never asked me, I'm not just going to randomly text them and be like, hey, this is why I ghosted you. No, I'm just leave it alone, because you don't want to open the door for someone to come back in who should be gone and who should be gone forever. So all in all, letting go of toxic relationships isn't going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Some people get hurt to the point where letting go of that person may be easy. Some people, it's not going to be that easy. A lot of times you are going to be hurt. Your feelings are going to be hurt. You may have hurt the other person's feelings, but negativity is in all of that. It just drains you. It ruins your sense of peace, and it ruins your happiness, and it's just not good for you. It's not good for your mental health. I don't even think it's good for your physical health. So you really just have to, as nicely as I can put it, suck it up and let that person go and let them get themselves together. If it's meant to be, then they'll come back around once they fix themselves and gotten themselves together and, you know, figured out why they are the way they are. But otherwise, I just don't think that holding on to a toxic relationship is the right idea, because they're not, more than likely they're not going to get better while they're with you. A lot of times it takes losing someone to make them realize, I need to get it together. Otherwise, most people don't change with the person that they're being toxic to. Toxic behavior just continues. So yeah, you guys, that is it for this video. That was kind of like a deep one, but I was just thinking about the topic because, like I said, I've had a few toxic relationships that, you know, I've had to let go of. I've been the toxic person in a relationship before, so I definitely understand it. If you guys have any stories or any questions, any comments or anything, as always, leave them down in the comment section and I will respond to them. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave and hit that post notification bell so you're notified when I upload, and I will see you guys in my next video.